Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into some conversation this morning. Of course, as we would have mentioned earlier, there was that whole situation, and it had a very fortunate end, and we give thanks for that. And we also want to thank the Hunters Search and Rescue team. And this morning, we have Captain Valence Rambarat joining us to be able to thank him personally. Captain Rambarat, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to TTT, your viewership, yourself, your as host, and it's a bright and sunny morning where I am. And let me just say that with respect to our men's national senior team, football team, there's always hope, and we have to continue to work with them, and one day they will reach where they're going.
Well, Captain Rambra, thank you so much for the good news, the good thoughts, of course, and I know all of us here, we are thinking the same thing. But I want to just jump in, before we jump into what happened over the weekend, Captain, and some of the rescues that you've done over the years. Can you give us a brief interview about who the Hunter Search and Rescue team is? And I say this because I know there's another group as well who sort of share a similar name. So can you tell us exactly who the Hunter Search and Rescue team is?
Well, this group, the group which I lead, started in February of 2021, and we were first on the Andrea Barrett search. If you had asked me before that if we were going to form a team, a rescue team, I would have said no. But when I looked at what was going on, police officers searching the forest in the Sandy Grande area, I pitched a call to former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffiths, and asking him if the hunters could come on board, and he agreed. And that is how we joined that search, and the men and women on that search, when we were finished with that searching for Andrea Barrett, they all agreed that they wanted to continue. However, in December of 2022, we had one member who we had some issues with him. He wasn't talking to any other member on the team, and we felt the time had come for him to leave the team. And in February, he left the team, and he went on to form his own team. Now, some of the issues we had with the gentleman was simply that ours is a structure. We have a structured way of doing things. We communicate with the police at all times on every mission. We don't speak the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service at any point in time. We just get about getting our business done. And so there were issues between the gentleman and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service as well. And he started off on the wrong foot. Our approach you all interviewed me on the Jaguar situation.
Yes.
Our team worked with the game wardens and forestry officials on a data collection exercise to see if anything existed. His approach is the one where a particular gentleman came forward with scrape marks that does not in any way resemble that of jaguar marks. And that has been how he has been operating since. It is as if it is a fight down. It is not. Anybody could form a team and join. I will be happy to work with them out there.
Now, Captain, I don't want to dwell too much on the issue because I know we're almost out of time, and I really want to get into the good news that we heard on Saturday morning with the child that you were able to save. Can you tell us, because we're hearing conflicting views in terms of what would have happened in that particular situation?
Well, the situation is that by the time we got to the residence, some members started arriving between 8 and 9 p.m. I got there for 9 p.m. and I spoke to the mother, and she told me that the child had an affinity for water, and she herself believed that the child would have gone to the water. Rain had fell, the stream was flowing at a very rapid pace, and what we decided to do was to enter the river and check the riverbed throughout the night. Lower down the river, we met a floodgate with a lot of debris that took us about 2.5 hours to search thoroughly. At about 5 a.m. in the morning, we came back to the residence and took us a short coffee break, and it was then we launched the drone. At the first inkling of daylight, we launched the drone And I had the operators try to find me a pathway from the beach to walk up the river. They indicated that such a pathway did exist, and we made our way down the beach and we began searching up the river. Now, by the time we got and we sighted the girl, there were a couple of fishermen from the Aryan people. They were behind us, and they made their way. They started to follow us. By the time we spotted the girl, they had arrived upon us. But one of the things when you're doing a rescue is that you don't have time to videotape and these type of things. So we bolted to get to the child, and we got to the child. There's circulating on social media a video, but we don't videotape it. We don't have time to videotape. If it's a rescue, you have to get into, you have to kick off, you have to go, you have to reach the girl quickly, and that is what our team did. We reached her, we picked her up, and scanned her as with any rescue to see if she had any cuts and bruises or broken limbs. She seemed healthy at that point in time, and we took off with her, ran down the beach with her. We had a waiting vehicle. I stopped didn't really stop, but I just visited the Aryan police station, which was on its way, and I told them, listen, we have the baby girl, follow us. I'm taking her straight to her mother. And they all agreed, and they followed us to the home where we were able to place the young lady in the hands of her mother.
Captain Rambrad, first of all, I'm sure that the family has been thanking you profusely, but of course, I want to extend that sentiment of gratitude to you and the team for that overnight work, that consistent work, that never giving up, and that always having hope. Now, Captain, I'm curious as to your mindset when you get the report, or you get a call coming in saying that somebody's gone missing. What is the first steps into action, and what happens next?
My exact words that I typed on the team chat was, "It's a go team. 5-year-old missing in Carapal, Aryan. It's a go team." It's a go is our code signal to drop what you're doing and start to prepare. It isn't a time for phone calls and that type of thing. Personally, I would have jumped into the bathroom. My bag is always packed, and within minutes I was ready. When I was finished bathing and that type of thing, I went back on the phone, and I would have indicated all the equipment that we needed for the for the search and rescue operation. In this case, we needed ropes, like you had to walk with your life jackets, although the water level was low by the time we got there. Well, during the day, we didn't need the life jackets. Mm-hmm. But all the equipment, the drone, all those things, a simple note, the persons who have those equipment in their possession would know that we'd have to walk with those. As you're aware, KFC sponsor or means while we are on missions, a short note to them, X amount of people is heading down, and I stayed back. The reason I reached 9 p.m. was that I stayed back to collect the meals so that the team, we were preparing for all-nighter, so that the team had something to eat during the course of the night. So at 3:25 a.m., we took a short break. We ate some meals quickly and went back into the water.
How do you know, Captain, where the range is, for example, where to start searching? I mean, you would have gotten a report that, the child would have been swept away by the water. Where do you begin from there?
Right. So we have a rule of thumb that says you start from where the incident occurs. All right? So when we got there, the information we gathered from the police, from the family, from those who gathered, was that the most likely option or situation would have been that she would have entered the water. So in this case, the rule of thumb is that you start there. We jumped into the water from right there and began searching down river. It's 2.8 kilometers of river to be searched, and and as I said, the obstacle was at the floodgate. Mm-hmm. God alone knows how she was able to get through that narrow floodgate, just about 4 feet wide and 2 feet high. the floodgate was down. There was only a quarter space remaining, and she went through that without getting any major injuries. And so that is, in this case, that is how we developed what we call a search plan. Additionally, we've had 3 cases we've worked on. The Kimani Francis Search and Tisha Village, Point 14, the Teresa Village case in Lupino when she was swept away, and her body was located in La Florissa and Dabadi. And in December 2022, we had the Alan Ramdial case where the 2-year-old boy fell off the jetty, and we got his body lower down on the seashore at the river mouth. So we had those 3 experiences to bring to bear on developing a search plan in this case.
Captain, I'm also thinking about how the team trains, because I've spoken to people before and they say, well, yes, you know, Captain Rambarat, and those fellows know the bush, as you would say, you know. So is it as simple as knowing the forested areas, knowing the areas that are sort of densely populated with bush, or is it a sort of training that you and your team also have to undergo to be able to, you know, conduct these type of searches?
Yes, we have. The team goes out on training. Our training area is basically heights of a repo. And then there are individual members who would make it their duty to undergo training all the time in terms of fitness and health. Yesterday, just to get away from all of this, because for me it was an out-of-body experience, I went into the Capsule Forest and spent 3 hours training.
And Captain Rambarat, when you say training, is it cardio, for example? Do you lift weights? I mean, what sort of training takes place?
No, in the forest you would get the hills and valleys, you cross logs, you have to duck under vines, and you simply walk along the trails, the tracks, and you push yourself in terms of your speed. And you will get your cardio. You will get everything from that. It's an excellent form of exercise.
Yeah.
Captain, I just wanted to find out. I mean, when we're talking about the examples and you bring them up with such ease, do you remember every search and rescue that you go on? Do you remember each person that you've searched for, their names, their identities, all that stuff?
Yes, last night, at about 7 o'clock thereabouts, I got a call from a family in Maracas, St. Joseph. Their loved one, Ronald Sideno, has been missing since December 2022. And there was a sighting of him in San Fernando during the course of the week. And when the family called me and they said, Ronald Sideno, I said, I remember the case. You are from Maracas, St. Joseph. We've been tracking that guy. We went out on searches for him. There were calls saying that he was in Arima, he was in Port of Spain. And last night, 3 members of the team went to San Fernando, and within 15 minutes, they were able to locate Ronald Sideno. So I do remember the names of every one of those persons we assisted.
And Captain, final question for me. I was also thinking, you mentioned the family member would have reached out to you, but is it that people reach out to you or they reach out to the police service, or do you advise that they reach out to the police first? Because I know earlier you mentioned that you actually work with the police service, and I know some people may have so much faith in your team that they forget that there's a sort of legal aspect as well. So what do you advise people to do? Call you or call the police?
They call the police. I would advise that they call the police, because it's always important to report the matter to the police. And then in most instances, the police will tell them to call Hunter's Search and Rescue Team. So let's go back to Friday. At 6:08 p.m., I received a call from Sergeant Nigel Haynes, attached to the Erin police station. And he said, Captain, I need your team down here. So whether you call the police or you call us, it does not matter. We get the information right away.
Yeah. And Captain, is there a member of your team or somebody who you wanted to say happy birthday to?
Well, we do have a birthday we have a birthday on the 6th of July. That is Raquel Andrews, and I want to say happy birthday to her. And then on yesterday, we celebrated the birthday of Assistant Superintendent of Police, Daryl Ramdas. I want to say happy birthday to him as well, because he is the one who took us under his wings, trained us, and has been guiding us since then in terms of how we approach the relationship between us and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And he has been guided, like, for instance, how we approach a crime scene, how we approach, families, situations where there may be a kidnapping involved, or a person may have been harmed. Should we go in now? Or should we wait until they finish their work and go in after? And he guides us every step of the way on every mission that we have.
Right. All right.
Captain, I just wanted to find out if people want to be a part of the Hunter Search and Rescue team, how can they do so? How can they reach out to you to join the team?
Right, so they could reach us out on our Facebook page. We have a number there. They could WhatsApp us. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We ask them to leave their name, contact number, age, and location. Currently, we have 5 persons in training. That takes a lot out of us to get them properly trained.
Right.
After 6 months, and we're satisfied that you can be a member, we make you a full-fledged member of the team. The thing that will determine the most important criteria currently, because we switch the criteria from time to time, is where you're located, because we're looking to respond to things quickly.
As quickly as possible.
And probably we may not have a member in, let's say, Flanagan Town, Tabaquite area.
Yeah.
So that would be the determinant factor that we're using right now. Erin, right? We have to fill some gaps throughout the country.
All right. Well, Captain Rambrot, let me thank you so much for joining us this morning. And again, from the entire team here at the Now Morning Show at TTT. And I would be so forward as to say for the entire country, let me thank you so much for the work that you and your team have been doing, especially finding little Janessa on Saturday morning. So thank you so much, Captain Rambrot, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a pleasure being on your program this morning.
Of course. And that was Captain Valence Rambrot from the Hunters Search and Rescue Team, giving an overview of the group and, of course, how he and his team continue to find the people who are missing among us and bring them back to their families. On the Now Morning Show, we're going to take a break and be right back. But up next, we're going to be talking to Kevin Fodringham as we talk about our art exhibit series on Now. Stay with us.
Not later, right now.